Hey, what's going on? Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram. Let's not forget our friends and loved ones at YouTube. How are you guys doing today on this beautiful Friday? Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It's me, your friend, your host, Mr. Alchemist, Mr. Raise Your Frequency, Mr. No Real Estate and Trader Left Behind. How are you guys doing today? Man, it's been a while since I came and done a video. We've been busy doing some other projects, but always wanted to come and share some information with you guys. Right now, we had Bitcoin go to an all-time high. However, we are going to have a little pullback. That's the reason of the message saying that Bitcoin will be going on special. I'm gonna put some words from our partner and brother, Mr. Jim Rohn, while we get some more people on the call. We'll wait maybe about 20 seconds to a minute, and then we'll walk over the charts using our algorithmic artificial intelligence, giving us the ideas of where Bitcoin is going to go. So please like, subscribe, and share this video, and invite a friend so they could know where we're going with this Bitcoin. So I'll be right back. Give me just a few moments.
Life is part negative, so we got to talk about the negative. And this subject is called diseases of attitude. Diseases of attitude. There's a lot of things that can wreck your chances to do well. We live in a rather dangerous world, so you got to be not only wise, you got to be careful. Now, attitude diseases are just as bad as physical diseases, right? High blood pressure, heart trouble. I mean, a lot of things lace your chances to do well. So you've got to be careful. And attitude diseases are deadly. I mean, they'll destroy all the good things you start. These attitude diseases are like weeds that grow in the garden. It's a normal part of life. Here's a good phrase to note. Negative is normal. It's not successful, but it's normal. It's part of life. And here's the next key, in my opinion. You must learn to handle the negative. Don't ignore it. Handle it. Now, I know some people teach the other way. And listen to them. And listen to me. And then make up your own mind. Right? Don't be a follower. Be a student. But I say you got to handle the negative.
Okay. Like Mr. Jim Rohn said, don't be a follower, be a leader. And that is the reason why right now we have invested a good amount of money in our trading system. We want the best tools, the best data information coming in at the fastest speed time as possible. So a few weeks ago, was it last week? I think it was last week. I'm not sure if it was last week. But last week, I had put a video, a picture of Bitcoin hitting an all-time high. I believe it was... I think it was on the weekly. Hold on, let me double check. Yes, it was on the month. I think it was on the monthly. I'll double check on the picture. I put a comment. Are we going for a double top? Or are we going to hit a resistance and pull back? Well, as you could tell, we have an all-time high at 67,000. Why? As you could tell, here is the previous high. Back in, when was that? Back in April. So back in April, we had a high. So that was the all-time high in April of 64,000. Okay, so what did it do? Okay, I'm gonna show you guys, okay, real quick. It went and tapped. So all the people that were thinking that this Bitcoin's gonna go up right away, it trapped them. Look at that. As soon as it accumulated all these orders right here at 67,000 up to 70,000, those were orders. So now look what it's doing. Okay, watch. Boom. Okay. This little sun-looking doohickey right here. I haven't heard that word in a long time since school. This little doohickey right there, that looking like a sun, that is what we call a high performance high level. Okay, so we only get this when it's not gonna go any higher. Okay, let me show you the lower. It goes on trends. Okay, well, we don't have any low trend. Okay, well, you might see these boxes right here, right? These boxes represent where banks and market makers are doing their transactions. So our artificial intelligence algorithmic robot is telling us at these prices banks are being enticed, market makers are putting in orders at this price as well. Okay, so now that it picked up all this liquidity on top, it's going to pull back, and here's how I got that 52,000 right here, because this white line is a balancing. Okay, here is where banks are at that price. That is where banks are balancing their account ledgers. Okay, do you guys know what an account ledger is? If you guys don't, look it up. Okay, that's where they're having their account ledgers. Okay, so it's gonna go back and balance its books at 52,000, at 52,700 or something. Okay, but you see this other line right here? Okay, these what it's called liquidity lines. So everybody went long. So all this people that are trailing their profits up to 100k Bitcoin, what is it gonna do? Here, this little candle right here is our daily candle. So I know where my daily candle is, where my weekly and monthly. Okay, what is it gonna do? It's gonna pull back and it's gonna kill all this liquidity. It's gonna pull back all right here, take away all this liquidity of the people that are trailing. So they'll come pick up all their money. Okay, now once it comes back and buys Bitcoin at, that's too lit, like they're gonna come and buy it. Okay, that's one of their moves. It's called, they sell to buy, and that's what's doing right now. Let me go to a lower time frame. Let me go to my daily time frame. Here we go. Here we have some more indicators. As you can tell, we have our high peak performance. We already have the candle. We already have this. Okay, so $57,000 is just right here. Okay, 58. So right here, that's all it has to pull back. Okay, so let's go to, yeah, this, like I said, this is, I use a lot of hold on, let me put my order in. Let me do 5 lots on Bitcoin. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do a Bitcoin order live right now while I have you guys on the where are you? BTC. Okay, BTC. Okay, so we got that. We're gonna do 5 lots. Okay, so we're gonna do load. Okay, no. Like I said, I'm doing this in live time right now, so I am going to position myself at, so let's do market order. So I'm gonna expect Bitcoin to come at 55,000. Okay, but I'm gonna buy it at. Okay, so I'm gonna do a buy order. Boom, just like that. My buy order. Um, shoot. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go to the hourly. I trade a 3 chart template. As you guys could see, when I trade, this is my chart. This is my lookalike. I usually have a 5 minute, a 15 minute, and an hour, or a half, or a 5 minute, 30 minute, an hour. I like to trade like that. It makes it a whole lot easier for me instead of changing screens. So I changed. As you guys saw, look, watch. I'm able to move here, and it moves here on my things. Okay, watch. Okay, here's where I'm expecting it to go. Boom, out of the picture. You see? So, like I said, I love using technologies, and that is where Bitcoin's at right now. Somebody else asked about Ethereum. Okay, so we're gonna go on Ethereum and look at what Ethereum is doing. Let's see. Let me go this route. I think it's gonna be easier. Where are we? Where's Ethereum? Okay. Where's ETH? Okay. So we're uploading Ethereum on the 1 hour, daily, and weekly. Okay. Cause like I said, cryptocurrencies with the fees, with the spreads, it's very hard to make a good scalping profit. You know what I mean? There's people that do it, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying for my preference. You know what I mean? Because like I said, at the end of the day, you have to figure out what type of trader you are. You know? Let's see. Okay. So, Ethereum's doing the same thing. Watch. It hasn't, Ethereum, the good thing on the weekly, it has not hit a high. However, it's doing a double top. See? This is a high. This is a high. Look at this high. It didn't reach out there. So there's buyers trapped long. Okay? Let's do the monthly. Yeah, you see? This is a high. So Ethereum has buyers trapped long. The market makers does. Because look at the volume. Not much volume. Okay? It's not much volume right now. So, okay, so let's go back to my weekly. Okay, so now let's go to my daily. As you can tell, on my weekly, I don't have much indicators. It's pretty much simple price action, just where the box, because I want to make sure where the banks and the market makers are coming in, so I know the prices that they're targeting and the prices that I should target as well. Because you always want to be trading with the flow of money, not against it. And that was an issue that I was having when I was starting. Okay, I guess last time I traded Ethereum, we were on all those prices. Damn, that was a while back. Okay. So we got that. Let's go to the daily. As you can tell, we hit a resistance, supply, boom. They're gonna come back and distribute down here. Here where I see Ethereum on this coming low. Okay, like I said, I just gotta find where the banks are managing and balancing their books. So it's at this price, okay? Right at this price at 3,211. That is a price where market makers are balancing their books. Okay, another price is 2,963. It's not gonna happen overnight, guys. Okay, let's be clear with that. It's not gonna happen overnight. However, you have predictions. You have created a hypothesis of where things are going. Okay, why do you think the dollar is pumping right now, even with all that inflation that's happening? Okay, you have to remember the government fiscal year ends in October 31st. Okay, so so the government's January 1st is actually November 1st. Okay, everything's about accounting. Okay, everything's about accounting. You know, you have to keep the accountability there. Okay, so around this time the dollar pumps. Why? Because you have the holidays, you have Christmas, you have Thanksgiving, you have Halloween. Those are holidays that the United States dollar goes up because it's being used to purchase services, to purchase items. Okay, so around this time of year the dollar goes up. Like I said, it's orchestrated this way. So if you have any pairs that you would like me to take a look at, I'm gonna start doing maybe once a day. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it on YouTube or on our Facebook group, but I'm gonna be going live and start sharing the pairs, not only with Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, BTC, those Bitcoins that we use with our brokers, but I will be going into gold, silver, US 30, NASDAQ. We're going to be going into Forex as well. So if you have a pair that you would like us to take a look at it and put it into our system, and it has all this algorithmic inputs data being given to us, let me know. Let's jump on board. Let's do it. Like I said, at the end of the day, we're doing it for free because we want to make sure that we're all in it and facing the exact same ways. So peace, love, and abundance always be with thee. It is your God-given right to be happy, safe, healthy, and most of all, wealthy. So do what makes you happy, and let's finish off with a little bit more words of Mr. Jim Rohn. Peace, love, and abundance be upon y'all.
You don't have to live in it. You don't have to dwell on it. But you do have to handle it, my opinion. Here's what part of it is. It's called the Great War between good and evil. And there is a war on. The minute you were born, you got involved in the war between good and evil, between darkness and light, between negative and positive, between evil and good, between tyranny and democracy, between weeds and human activity. I mean, the war is on. If democracy sleeps, guess who never sleeps? Tyranny. In the absence of light, guess what's automatic? Darkness. If good does not arouse itself and become active, guess what moves in? Evil. It's a war. A mental war, a physical war, a financial war, between enterprise and ease, between accomplishment and failure. It's a war. That's why there's an Old Testament phrase that gives the best advice for human activity when it says, 6 days labor, 1 day rest. Now, I'm sure we've taken that to mean, don't work all 7 days, take one off. Here's what it also means. Only take one off, or you're liable to lose the war. Now, we've got it down to 5 and 2. And maybe that's not too dangerous. I don't know. If God would have thought of 5 and 2, he might have made it 5 and 2. I don't know. But here's what it does mean. Enterprise is better than ease. If you rest too long, the jungle overtakes the village. Now, here's the good news about the war between good and evil. Evil is no match for good. but good must be active. Weeds are no match for human activity. But if you stand still, how far in will they come? All the way. They'll grow right up around your shoes. But if you get busy, how far back can you take them? As far as you wish. They're no match, but you must be active. That's why the 6 and 1. Make sure you're not losing the war by taking off too much. Guess what the average years are after retirement? 6. Which means don't retire. Your chances are too slim. The war between good and evil, the weeds. You got to make sure you recognize the negative, handle it, deal with it, and then go on. Let's make a list of the diseases of attitude that can wreck all your chances to do well. One of the words that destroys everything is called neglect. And I found this out. A week of neglect could cost you a year of repair. It isn't worth it. So what to be on the lookout for? Here's the list. If you were making it, you'd have the same list I've got.
How would you like to get out of debt in 9 years or less, including your mortgage, without changing your life?
Right, we're not covering anything new tonight. This is a reminding session, not a teaching session. But it doesn't hurt to go over it again. Here's the list. Attitude diseases. Number 1 is indifference. The shrug of the shoulder. The guy's not even concerned. He's just drifting. This is called the mild approach to life. A disease known as mildness. The guy says, well, I can't see getting all that worked up. Well, to be any kind of winner, you gotta get worked up. There's one problem with drift. You cannot drift to the top of the mountain. And the good Lord said in the closing chapters of the Bible, here's the best way to live. One way or the other. That's best. Hot or what's next best? Cold is next best to hot. Not the half-baked middle, lukewarm, not too hot, not too cold. What a sad way to live. I think what it means is pick a direction and go with everything you got. Just pick one and go. Somebody says, yeah, but what if it's the wrong direction? You'll find out quicker. It won't take you 25 years to wake up and say, oh no, I've been walking the wrong road. I told my staff the other day, next best to prosperity is adversity. If one doesn't get you, pray for the other. We all do better from one of 2 reasons, inspiration or desperation. And I don't wish anything bad on you tonight, but if you're not inspired, I hope a wagon comes down your rut. Whatever it takes to get you to try harder, read more, set your goals, and go for it. Somebody asked me one time, what quality would I pick if I wanted to work with somebody? And you know what I picked first, number 1? Strong feeling. Please, number 1, give me somebody that feels strong. About most anything, I don't even care. Just so they believe it. Even if they disagree with me. Wonderful. Just so they disagree vigorously. I'm not saying it's easy to win those kind of people to your point of view, but I'd rather do that than to try to resurrect from the dead. Pump them up every month. Pump them up, pump them up. Here's the key to the good life. Learn to put everything you've got into everything you do. Whatever you are doing, pour it on. It will quickly open up into opportunity or quickly disclose to you that you ought to be doing something else. The delusion is, if I had a better job, I'd really pour it on. See, that's delusion. Wherever you are, pour it on. Don't give somebody half a job for a day's pay. Pour it on. See, that'll help change your life. Get rid of this disease. Here's the next attitude disease, indecision. Mental paralysis. The guy can't make up his mind and it becomes a disease. Pretty soon he knows he's got it. The guy says, well, I know I'm on the fence. But he says, what if I get off on the wrong side? Listen, after a while it doesn't matter. Just get off. Any side will do. A life full of adventure is a life full of many decisions. The ones that turn out to be wrong give you better experience to make better decisions. So don't see how many decisions you can get out of. See how many you can get into. That's where the adventure is. So shake off this disease, indecision. The next one is doubt. Doubt's like a plague. And one of the worst is self-doubt. There are many, but that's one of the worst. The guy doubts himself. Doubts if it'll last that long for him. Doubts if he can do that well. Doubts if he can make that much. Doubts if he can accomplish all that. A chronic, excellent self-doubter. You can imagine what damage that does to your future. So here's the key. Turn this coin over and become a believer. And there's many things to believe in. One of the majors is yourself. The understanding of self-worth is the beginning of progress. Now, if those 3 don't get you, this one will. Worry. That's a devastating disease, worry. Worry causes health problems, social problems, personal problems, family problems. It's devastating. Worry long enough, it'll drop you to your knees. Could reduce you to begging. I know how bad this one is. I used to have it bad. I used to be known as a super worrier. Not a super warrior. No, super worrier. My family wished I'd have been a warrior. I got those years to make up for. But I'll tell you what. My advice to you is do what I finally did. On worry, give it up. Who needs it? I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's worth it. It took me almost 1 year to kick the worry habit, and it was not an easy year. It was one of the toughest years I ever spent, but I finally got that monkey off my back. And I discovered you could live the most incredible life free of worry. Not free of challenge, not free of difficulty, free of worry. I learned how to do it, and you can. Here's the next attitude disease, overcaution. Some people never will have much. They're too cautious. Now, you can also be too reckless, but you can also be too cautious. This is called the timid approach to life. And my caution was always the risk. Risk used to drive me right up the wall. I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. What if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. I could always ace myself out. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive. The Englishman says, well, if that's the way it's going to work out, let's give it a go. Right, that's what it's for. Give it a go. Somebody says, yeah, but I'm looking for safety and security. Fine, then huddle in a corner. We'll cover you with a sheet, bring you 3 meals a day. And we'll protect you, feed you, look after you, care for you. We won't let anything happen to you. And you'll probably live to be 100. The guy said, well, yeah, I'd live to be 100. But what a way to live. Right. What a way to live, safe and secure. Don't ask for security. Ask for adventure. Better to live 30 years full of adventure than 100 years safe in the corner. And see, it's not important how long you live. What's important is how you live. The next one is pessimism. Pessimism, the deadly disease of always looking on the bad side, the problem side, the difficult side, checking all the reasons why it can't be done. The poor pessimist leads an ugly life. He doesn't try to figure out what's right. He tries to figure out what's wrong. He doesn't look for virtue. He looks for faults. And when he finds them, he's delighted. How ugly. This is the poor guy who looks through the window, doesn't see the sunset. He sees the specks on the window. And this is the poor guy, right, who rushes up, takes such leave of his senses. This guy rushes up and he says, I've got 5 good reasons why it won't work. He's so dumb, he doesn't know. All he needs 1. He's got 5. To the pessimist, the glass is always half empty. To the optimist, the glass is half full. Why would the same measure affect people 2 different ways? Answer, it all depends on how you look at it. Our lives are mostly affected by the way we think things are, not the way they are. The way we think they are affects us most. The last disease, but this one is deadly. Engage in this one, indulge in it even slightly, and you might as well forget the future, because it's going to forget you. Complaining, crying, whining, griping. A Bible word called murmuring. See, that'll ace your future. Spend 5 minutes complaining, and you have wasted 5. And you may have begun what's known as economic cancer of the bone. Surely they will soon haul you off into a financial desert, and there let you choke on the dust of your own regret. I hope I said that well, so you won't forget. It's a deadly disease. If you don't think it's bad, ask the children of Israel of Old Testament fame. Typical of us all, their story just happened to get in the book. Story says, children of Israel were slaves. God performed a series of dazzling miracles and got them out. And now they're heading for the promised land. Remember the story? Heading for the promised land. Tragedy of the story, they never got there. Reason, from day 1, they started to complain. They griped about the water. They griped about the weather. They whined and cried and griped about the food. They griped about the leadership. They whined and cried because it was too far, too cold, too hot, too difficult, too miserable. I mean, they whined and cried for years. Finally, God said, I've had it, trip canceled. The story says they died in the desert, never got to the promised land. Which I think means two things. Indulge in this long enough, you get your future canceled. And I guess it also means even God himself can only take so much. Just be on the lookout of the things that can destroy all the good you start. The war is on. And this evening, tomorrow, mentally, personally, socially, economically, you got to make sure you're winning the war.
The dollar is toast. Those